When I asked you about your preferred leadership style in Module 1, it wasn't a trick question. We all have a home base. However, the danger lies in believing our preference is our authenticity, when in reality, it's often just our comfort zone. Authentic leadership, when paired with a growth mindset, is the intention to achieve the best result by working with the specific people in front of you so they get what they need from you and each other to excel. Consider the styles you read about in Chapter 4 of Primal Leadership and in the videos about emotional intelligence. If you stop a rehearsal and raise your voice in irritation because a section isn't together, then you're leading with reaction, not intention. You are likely feeling the discomfort of needing a different leadership style, or worse, you aren't prepared to provide one and instead blurt out, "Follow me there." It becomes obvious to the ensemble that you'd rather they just fix it than you change your strategy. This is why leading with emotional intelligence is a skill. It begins with the self-awareness of how you feel, followed by the self-management of those emotions. Goleman's leadership styles, which you'll begin mapping to your leadership blueprint this module, must be mastered so you can be responsive in the moment. You can also be strategic and prepare for these interactions ahead of time, so you are not just preparing a score, but also preparing yourself to lead authentically for who you are leading. With youth orchestras, for instance, I might go in prepared to lead emerging talent with a coaching style, mixed with affiliative cues, to put them at ease. As they get more proficient, one could start to be more democratic, but then in the same rehearsal, if a new work is introduced after the break, the coaching style might need to return to start the process again. With choral diction issues, I might adopt a pace-setting style to demonstrate how to overcome the difficulty, then use a bit of humor, noting it's a good thing I won't be singing in the performance to keep things light. There are orchestras that have different levels of ability from section to section, and I have had to activate 4 or 5 leadership styles before the break of the first rehearsal. With top-tier orchestras, for example, the St. Louis, Atlanta, or Utah Symphony, while the commanding style is often viewed negatively on the whole in terms of leading with emotional intelligence, these renowned musicians want you to demonstrate clarity, efficiency, and a command of the score. They don't need coaching or pace setting. Once you demonstrate that command, it actually becomes organic for a democratic or collaborative style to develop because you have earned their trust. Leadership styles themselves at times change according to the situation. That is where social awareness comes into play. And in this scenario, as Goleman puts it, organizational awareness is reading the currents, which determines the leadership style you need to activate. You learned about unconscious competence in Module 1. Now, there is a danger to it if it only applies to your home base or preferred leadership style. To combat this, you must train your unconscious competence to activate adaptive leadership, where you automatically seek the most appropriate style for the situation. You have already learned in your musical training how to adapt your physical gestures to different musical styles and genres, or to a soloist's unique phrasing and needs. Leadership is no different. It is a strategic choice. If you can make your authenticity a commitment to leading intentionally and adaptively, then trust and motivation will follow naturally. This alignment, where your prepared leadership strategy meets the real-time needs of the ensemble, is how a conductor moves beyond mere technical command. It is the point where you stop just managing a rehearsal and begin to practice resonant leadership, creating an environment where peak performance becomes the collective goal.